Okay, now that it runs, what I want to do is actually take this harness off and then swap back to the LS1 intake manifold, put the eBay harness back on, and see if it'll run. I mean, I'm sure it will. But we'll get rid of this mess because it's going to be a lot cleaner with the eBay harness. And then this will be our test stand harness where we can run engines on the engine stand. Got this nice chrome valley plate cover. Got a new cam sensor back here. And this is what makes it look cool. Those truck intakes are ugly. Look at that, it already looks cool. Throttle body's on. Everything's bolted down. Now we can swing the eBay harness back on. And it's much cleaner looking than the other harness. Look at that. That's all it is. Let's see if it works off the key. How about that? Oh, I got no fuel pump. Something's wrong. I think we're ready. If we can hear the fuel pump, then we're ready. There we go, I heard it. This is it. Alright, this is not it. Let's see if we got PCM power. So, you know, it helps if you plug in your crank sensor. This sensor is the bane of my existence, I think. This is working on cars. You just fail, 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 until you don't fail. Come on.
That's as loud as you thought.
Smoked him out.
Dude.
It died by itself, so let's see if we can get it running here. What's going on here? We're just going to tape this on for now. I think it needs a mass airflow sensor, that's why it's not idling correctly. There we go. We must have a vacuum leak or something. What's this? That looks like it could be a vacuum leak. That thing right there?
Oh, yeah.
That might be an issue. I got it. Another problem. So, man, look, last night was my birthday. Okay?
It was.
We went out. We had a good time. I'm operating on some lower brain cell capacity today. All right? I swapped the map sensor from this intake to the other one. I didn't put it back, so there's just a big hole in the back of the intake sucking in air. So let's swap that baby over, and we're going to run great.
That might do it. Update from the Satito?
Just toiling. Still toiling.
Tune in for part 3, where we put an engine on the engine stand. Okay, map sensor is plugged in. I think it's going to idle. Headers are warming up for the first time. But yeah, man, we can keep going. Let's do this. I want to drive this thing like next week. So now that the Blazer runs, I'm going to put the performance camshaft back in it. The Summit 8713. I think this is actually discontinued. I bought this 3 years ago, I'm ashamed to say. It's the Stage 3 truck LS cam from Summit. I put the original cam back in here to get it running because I thought maybe that was an issue. Now that it is running, I believe we can put the fun camshaft back into the engine and see how it runs without a tune, obviously. But we will get it tuned someday. But I'm gonna quickly get the valve covers off, push rods out, harmonic balancer off, and we'll see if we can shove this camshaft in there and do a first start. And I'm hoping for a Lopi idle. We'll see. Aftermarket camshaft installed. Let's hear it. Take two. Oh, it's so good. Incredible. Another successful day on the Blazer. Still a lot of work to do. Lots more parts coming. But yeah, that's what I want my cam to sound like. Good choppy idle. These are the water pump spacers I got on eBay. I think it was like 20 bucks for the kit. Comes with all 6 bolts that you need for the water pump. Even comes with, I believe, 4 gaskets because you need 1 on each side, 2 of them. So we're gonna mount the water pump. This is the LS1 water pump from Rock Auto. It's a Gates brand. And let's put the whole accessory drive together. I've got the power steering pump and alternator bracket over here. I shaved it down, or actually cut it off. I need to grind it down a little bit more, make it smoother. And then we can put our new idler pulley relocator bracket on, which I'll show you. And then we'll put the belt on and see if everything fits. And I believe the power steering pressure hose should screw right in to our original steering box, but we're gonna find out. All right, we're hitting on this coolant crossover tube on the throttle body from the 5.3 truck motor. So we'll have to cut that off. Tight, but it fits. So I'll grind a little bit off of here, and I'm going to clean it up. There's some shavings all over it, but look at that, it fits. Alternator from the Silverado donor truck. Pretty dirty and dusty. I don't even know if it works, but just for belt routing purposes, we'll put it on. And this might hit the hood when we're done. I've read it could hit the hood. by, I think it was $20 also. Same as the water pump spacers. Got it routed correctly, but as you can see, it's too loose. So, to the auto parts store, start looking up random belts. Look at that. We have a belt drive. Pretty happy with it. I did have to go get a different belt. This is the gates that it needed. 99 inches exactly is what you want. That's the gates number. But it fits great. Just picked up some more hose, and I picked up a thermostat, and so now we can start figuring out coolant plumbing. We can get the cooling package situated. I'm going to take the AC condenser out of there, and I think we're going to put this radiator in that's sitting back here. This is the AC condenser. So I'm going to take off all these little bolts and pull that thing out of there. And then I'm gonna have to custom fabricate some brackets to hold the radiator in place right there. Because where the radiator sits now, it would be too close. We wouldn't have room for our electric fans. But first, I gotta pressure wash that thing because it's filthy. This is the radiator support with the 4.3 liter V6 radiator, and we have to modify this. We're gonna cut actually into this side, so I'm gonna move this thing over. So that this side fits basically like that. first test fit. It's pretty close. Take a little bit more off here. I did some more trimming. I'm gonna try to use these brackets. Got this side cut out a little bit more. It's gonna look a little better than that when it's done. But it'll still have that custom look to it, if you know what I mean. These are the Dodge Intrepid fans I picked up a couple years ago for a different project. They've just been sitting, and unfortunately, this motor sticks out really far. Got the radiator support fitted up here, and as you can see, this motor that sticks out super far is hitting the belt. So that's not gonna work. I did test the motors. Both fans work, surprisingly. They've been sitting for years, but they do work. However, I wish the other side looked like this, how much room we have, but it doesn't. So I may be hitting up the junkyard to find a different set of fans. Back from the junkyard, got a set of fans from a 2005 Chevy Malibu. Apparently they will work. I've seen pictures of them online. So let's do a test fit. That's tight, but I think it's gonna work. What I have to do is trim a little bit of this off, and then we may have to cut this one off completely. This side fits pretty good. Still gonna be tight, but we just need, ½ inch. That's all we really need. So let's do some more trimming. Well, I figured out a solution, even if it's only temporary. I took the pieces that I cut off of the radiator support, and I made a bracket for the bottom. I put a rubber hose on it because otherwise it was just metal sticking into the plastic shroud. But basically, this is gonna slide under here. Okay, just like that. And then I'll drill holes, maybe 3 of them. 1, 2, 3, something like that. So that'll hold the shroud from going up and down. It'll hold the radiator from sliding out because it's just sitting on those rubber grommets. Then the top one is another scrap piece from this same radiator shroud. I cut it. It was already L-shaped, and it fits on the top side of the shroud, and it actually kind of goes underneath this lip. And see those 2 holes there? That's where I'm going to drill and put bolts through it, and that's going to hold it from moving up and down. And I may add a rubber hose underneath if I can somehow. And then the fan has plastic notches that keep it in the radiator. So I think we're okay. Putting a layer of black paint. Time to wire up the electric fans. I got these at the auto parts store, pigtails and relays with the holes in them so you can mount them. First, let's go to this harness. We already have them marked. So fan 1 is this green wire and fan 2 is this blue, so that the PCM should control them when the coolant temp comes up. Next step, you need to find hoses that will fit. This one just has to go here to here. But this is the more difficult one. The LS1 water pump sticks straight out, so I got a 90 over or 90 up, and then go to a curved outlet, like a 45. Welcome to the channel, Dan.
Nope.
We're on live right now.
Nope, not yet.
Just kidding. These are the hoses. These are our options. We gotta make this work.
Do it.
Let's get to work.
Just do it.
Look at all these hoses. We gotta make something work. I like the look of this one. That's a good 90. As for the upper, probably gonna have to do a 2-piece. And a nice straight cut. That's why you buy that tool. Okay, now we can probably cut some off of this side. We need to cut a little bit off here. Hopefully it's not too short now. Oh, you know what? That actually might fit better the other way. Oh yeah, come on. Get in there. Yeah, that'll work. Clamp her down, it's done. Now to the top hose. Found a hose that might work. We've got a 90, but it's still too long. So I'm thinking cut 1.5 inches off probably. Well, it's on. Technically it clears. I could also trim this a little bit if need be. So now we're on to the next step of how do we get this to here. We're gonna have to cut this one way or another, so let's just cut it like here, see if we can bend it over. If not, we'll have to do a 2-piece hose with a piece of metal in the middle connecting them. Somehow it actually works. It's a little too close for comfort, but also we need to get this other fender on to see where this thing actually sits, because it might go in a little bit. See? So we're probably gonna need to hang the other fender, and then we can see if somehow we can have a 1-piece hose. I like it right now. I think we just need to cut it a little bit shorter, sink it in some more. We got this. Lower radiator bracket.
Bolts.
We got the Harbor Freight 500 pack for $5. Gotta love it. Show you guys what I'm doing down here. I just drilled 2 holes. One there. Had to use these C-clamps to hold my bracket in place. One here. It's not perfect, but it'll work, I hope. Maybe. Give me those bolts, Dan. Oh, don't knock that onto me.
That was the game plan.
Bolts are in. Just 2 for now. I think that'll be fine. Oh yeah. Hard to see. Sorry about that. Oh, maybe this is better. Stuff is in the way. There we go. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm such a good fabricator. It's unbelievable.
Why are you lying?
Put the other 4x4 fender on. Now, let's see. Oh, that goes underneath. Oh, I should take the other fender off. Looking good. Come check it out.
Wow, it's a Blazer 4x4 S10, formerly 4.3.
Lots of progress. We got clamps on the hoses. Got this one, and we do have a little bit of space there. It's tight, but it works. Clamped over here. Got a little bit of space. In theory, it should be good. And then we got this. Well, I don't have the right overflow tank yet, so just decided to loop it. We got the inner fender in on the passenger side, as I like to call it.
That's the one.
Passenger. Found the permanent location for the battery. Just close the hood right onto it, ground it out. That'll be good. All the wiring's done. I mean, look at that. You can't even tell. I mean, it looks factory.
I would send it just like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Airbox delete mod, that's done. Don't need a map sensor, don't need an air filter, that's government propaganda. And I'm gonna start it up for Dan for the first time. He gets to hear that that cam.
Yeah, I guess it's a cam.
There's a cam in this
Probably
thing.
stock, but that's okay.
Stock Lopey cam.
Low-key stock cam.
Let's fill this garage with smoke. What do you say, bud?
Neutral, right?
Neutral. Beautiful. Haven't started in a couple weeks.
Oh.
We got power steering. It works. Our uncooled, super hot power steering. And the belt was looking good. Didn't hit anything.
Yeah.
So that's a success. We made some progress. Trying out the new airbox system from Speed Engineering. So this is what I've come up with so far. Without any clamps, just test fitting. I was worried that there wouldn't be room with the alternator here, but there's actually plenty of room. So I think this is how we're gonna run it. We'll try to build some sort of cold air box over here someday. It could suck in a lot of air through the headlight hole, but we do need a headlight. Got all the clamps on. Looks pretty good. It comes with one bracket and this little mounting tab down here. So I actually had to bend this over a little bit, and now I've been trying to figure out, I was gonna go like this, doesn't quite fit, so if I go like this, slide that on. If I bend it about right here, I can use one of these holes and drive a bolt in there, and that'll be a good bracket for my airbox. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a mark and go over to the vise and bend it, bolt this thing on, and probably cut off this piece here because we don't need it. Okay, so that's the bracket. Had to bend it a couple ways to make it work, but it is resting on this upper radiator hose. So I'm gonna take this airbox off. We're gonna wrap that hose in another bigger hose so that we don't rub through. This hose is also rubbing on the fan shroud, so I'm gonna wrap a big hose around that too, just so our upper radiator hose doesn't rub and develop a leak someday when we're out cruising in the hot summer. This is what I came up with for the extra hose. Cut a bigger hose, zip tie it onto this hose, because that's gonna rub on the fan shroud, and then over here, that airbox bracket was rubbing right here. So hopefully that will protect my upper radiator hose. Only time will tell. Well, I got a throttle cable installed. Had to get one from a second gen S10 Blazer. It slid right down into the bracket. I had to drill out that square hole and make it more circular, and it actually just snapped right in there. So pretty easy. Now I'm gonna put some coolant in here. Try to figure out, I think I'm just gonna cap this with a rubber cap, and I can put some coolant in here and maybe let this thing warm up. I ordered a new battery tray because the old one rusted out right there. So I gotta figure out battery cables. I gotta get this junction wired up here. Batteries in. We got our new battery cables installed. This negative one just routes down to the head. Positive, we got running over to this junction over here, which is stock on the old Blazer. And then we got the alternator wire here. This is a stock 2010 Tahoe alternator wire. We got to tighten that up, put that on. And then we got the starter wire. So everything's run, and now we just have to do fan relay wiring. Make that all look pretty. We have to get the steam fitting hose connected to the radiator. We also have to get the overflow connected, so we have this T, so we can connect 3 hoses together. So this will go in here like this, and then we'll cut this hose and connect these right in the middle. Let's see. Nice straight cut. Now this side is too big for this, but we're just gonna clamp it down and see if we can get it to not leak. Alright, that's as tight as the clamp goes, but I think that's actually all we need. I don't think I need a clamp for these, they're super tight. And I'll use this clamp here. Now we have a T-fitting.
Looks prime.
Look at that. Beautiful. We still don't have a cap for this. But for now, I think I'm just gonna fill it with water. We're gonna clamp that rubber hose. Okay, that'll be fine. We're gonna start it up, just make sure nothing's in the way of the belt and no wires are gonna burn on the exhaust.
What do we have to fix?
And run ground wires from the battery to the frame.
We'll see if that does the job.
Yeah. Okay, I took off all these wires on this junction box and I found this. I was cutting wires yesterday. I think this one needs to be connected. I don't know why it's cut. So let's reconnect it with this butt connector. We'll put it all back together and see if that does it. I was trying to clean up the engine bay and get unused wires out of here. Sometimes you go too far. I really don't know why I cut that one. We're back. We got power steering too. And we got throttle off the gas pedal.
That's why it's all worth it.
But that idle is beautiful.
So beautiful.
It's perfect.
It sounded so good.
Alright, first time trying to drive the Blazer. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna try to just back up and then come back forward and see how it feels.
You had to. I know.
Both wheels?
Oh, I got it.
All right, so I gotta tighten down a bunch of transmission cross member stuff, but
Yeah.
I want to go for a drive.
Dude, I want to go for a drive.
Okay, we'll tighten down a bunch of bolts. So we just did our first burnout, came back inside, tightened up the transmission cross member. Trevor cleaned the windows. Trevor's putting gas in it. I wired up a fan relay, so we actually have one of the fans working. And we're gonna go for the first drive. It's pretty exciting. Really can't believe it, but it's about time. I think we were running out of gas because there was like nothing in there. So we're adding 5 gallons. That'll be plenty. just lost a wheel. Oh my gosh.
Get it out of your
Driving this thing. I just lived down the street. I'll be right back. Sorry about that.
We need your trailer.
I guess.
What is it that came out?
The whole hub.
Yeah. Well, stuff happens. All right, Nate. It's discouraging, but what are your thoughts?
I'm dumb.
Working the bugs out.
Hey, we know what's wrong.
That's right. That's what's important. And we got her on the trailer.
Epic failure. We made it one block and the front wheel hubs came out. Now, why did the wheel hubs come out? Well, it's a four-wheel drive truck. I took the CV shafts out. I took the front differential out. I didn't realize that the CV shaft, the giant nut, holds the hubs in. I should have realized that, but that was like a year ago. So sometimes you forget things.
Yeah.
Well, we need new front wheel hubs, and then we can go for another drive. Not today, but it's on the trailer. It looks cool behind me, I'll give it that. It does drive, it does move. I think our slave cylinder is actually okay. It seemed to be shifting okay. I got the second gear, tried to get to third, and then the wheels started to fall off. So first and second work, reverse works. We just got 3 more gears to try out. But yeah, I'm stupid. It happens.
It happens.
Working on cars will humble you. Please don't roll forward.
Oh gosh.
Oh God. Oh, we can't roll forward. The tires are falling off.